Good day, everyone. We're here for another episode of the DVD show. So, for today, we have one of the PBA anchors who's been there for the longest time and talking about the PBA. But for today, I invited him here on the podcast to talk about a pressing issue in the basketball world this past few days. So, I'll now welcome here to the DVD show, Charlie Cuna. Thank you for joining me here on the podcast.
It's my pleasure, Diego. Thanks for inviting.
Yeah. To start things off, Charlie, I wanted to ask you, how have you been doing these past few days? Alam ko busy ka with PBA, you've been telling me, and madaming coverages. So, kamusta ka naman these past few weeks and days?
Well, as you said, no, very busy. PBA is in full swing. Elimination rounds about to come to a close soon. So the playoff positioning is happening right now. So the games have been nice. Medyo the teams feel this sense of urgency, so they're playing very hard.
Mm-hmm.
Nice games we've been having. There's some great performances, individual performances. We've been seeing career highs weeks in a row. No, guys like Aljun Melesio and ito si RK Ilagan. No, just set a record. But it's good. It's coming up, and then so we're excited for that. But aside from that, busy with other things as well. No, as you mentioned, when we were talking off cam kanina, bar exams have begun. So my fellow lawyers or my aspiring lawyer friends are busy taking that. So we're busy with that as well because we help out in that. And then, of course, the day job of lawyering is also very busy. So
Yeah.
marami tayong ginagawa, Diego. But yeah, always finding time to talk about sports whenever possible.
Yeah. Thank you again, Charlie, for joining here in the pod. And yeah, even if you're very busy, then because it's a very pressing issue nga, yung nangyari nung last 2 days ago nung sa NCAA between JRU and CSB. And I'm pretty sure kahit busy ka na, nabalitaan mo kagad yung issue and tinignan mo kagad yung video. So what was the scenario like? Were you working that time? Were you with your family? What was happening when you first heard about the issue of John Amores, and what was your initial reaction to it?
I was just here working at home, no. But I'm part of several chat groups, diba? And then you have all your Viber groups and this and that. And people were mentioning it already. And when people mention, I guess that's the culture nowadays. Though you can't just mention it; you have to show proof that it actually happened. So when they post that this happened, may video na nakasama yon, diba? So there's video. So there was the initial video was the one from the TV itself, the first angle, no, and then nagkagulo ng konti, then he went to his bench, and then after a while he runs to the other side, and all that chaos happens. So that's the first video. After that, several other videos started coming out, iba-ibang angulo na. There were some videos taken by spectators themselves, and so then you start getting a clearer picture about everything, diba? But reaction-wise, if that's what you're asking, syempre nakakagulat yung pangyayari, and it attracts you, no, to watch. I mean, you see the first video, you want to see more, diba? I guess that's human nature, eh. Paano ba nangyari? Ano nangyari? Exactly what happened? Who's involved? What caused it? And then you start asking that question. I guess that's my curiosity as an attorney came out there. Ano ba nangyari? Who caused it? Diba? Who instigated it? At the time, I wasn't aware that this is the same fellow who had been involved in previous incidents, in the past against my UP Maroons preseason. So yung mga ganyan. So I didn't know. So syempre fact gathering muna tayo, info gathering. And then I participated in some discussions already about it with some of my friends.
Yeah, when you're a basketball fan, sometimes nga you have the like knee-jerk reaction on certain topics. So ikaw, for this issue, were you like, would you research more, and like did you also talk about it on social media, like maybe with you on Twitter or Facebook with other fans or followers, and did you like educate them or like give them more insights on the issue?
Well, initially I had short discussions with some close friends, no, like my companions in my own show, diba? My Eternity of Basketball show. We had a little discussion about it. Some other friends about parang grabe yung nangyari. Nakita nyo ba, diba? That's what you do first. But I guess it's always been, at least for the past X number of years that I've been a practicing lawyer, na we don't jump to conclusions, no. So we have a tendency to look first a little further, no.
Yeah.
That's why I was saying na parang you want to learn more. Ano bang nangyari talaga? I asked a couple of friends also na parang, did you see it actually? No, what were the commentators saying really prior to that? Meron bang gulo na nangyari? prior to that, no. Ang hirap kasi it's so hard to make a determination. But if you're talking about social media, I only posted one thing about it, no? And this came hours later na. Siguro late in the evening already. I'm not exactly sure what time I just tweeted na parang sama naman nung ginawa nung guy na yon. But I was also very disappointed with the security in the venue, no? During the event itself, no? That bothered me more than well, maybe not more, but maybe just as much as what the fellow did. But the security, no, the lack of security, the lack of urgency and sense of emergency on the part of the people, that there was something brewing already. And people were really just standing around and tokenly, putting their arms up and kunyari sinasangga, trying to stand in the way. But when he erupted and he ran to the other side, it's like the Red Sea just parted, diba? For him. So, and then it took so long to pacify him. I mean, we have all these guys in those yellow shirts, lalaki ng katawan, and if it's a regular fan, they'll keep you away from the court, they'll bump you pa, medyo siga sila. But when they really had to exert themselves, I don't think they did properly. Diba? Parang kinulang talaga sila doon. So that was a major issue for me. The security, the lack of it, no, was very apparent.
Yeah. Would you compare it to like something like Isaiah's tour when he tried to attack LeBron last year? Pero nung time na yun, di ba, parang ang daming ang tumakbo sa court, so hindi siya nakalusot kahit almost 7 foot siya. And compared here, I don't know if you have any idea or any insights on how many security guards were there or how many bouncers were there, but then they still weren't able to do anything. Kasi nga, hindi naman malapit yung tinakbo niya eh. Parang medyo malayo yun and naabot siya without any like hindrance.
Well, I know there's enough security to at least protect the players during timeouts, I believe. No, if we look at it, even in the other leagues that I watch, UAAP and PBA, when there are timeouts, the bouncers go on the court and they're each strategic location into the court. They're standing there to make sure that no one comes in. After the game, when the game ends, the same thing. So I'm pretty sure there was an ample number of security personnel present there, no? Who might have been able to do something. I guess they probably go to work every day, and that's what they guard against. This is the crowd interference with the players. But as far as addressing the interaction between players or among players, baka kulang sa training, kulang sa advice on what to do in that situation, because they could very well have tackled the player, diba? They could have tackled him, diba? And really exerted force, as they do when if a fan were to enter the court and tries to be a
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man in the PBA or the streakers in FIFA, diba? When they run naked across, you can just knock them down, put a blanket over them and get them out. You're allowed to do that because they're in no man's land. They are in kumbaga, they're trespassing, diba? You can do that. Obviously, the Isaiah Stewart image came into my mind because that's exactly how it looked, yung running all over the court. Ayaw magpaawat talaga, no? I don't know. But of course, hindi naman nagkaabutan dun sa Isaiah LeBron. Hindi naman nagkasuntukan talaga. It's all just shoving and things like that. But yeah, that was and in fact, I talked to some friends and I mentioned that parang yung si Isaiah Stewart, but at least, diba? Can you imagine what would have happened kung nagkaabutan sila? Ang lalaki nila, diba? LeBron, that guy Isaiah. They would have been harder to stop, I'm sure. But obviously, well, everything's clear in hindsight, diba, Diego? When we look at it now, we've seen the tape. You could have said that, because I saw some comments. You look at comments online. Dapat this one guy in yellow should have pushed him already, diba? But if you were the one there, makaka-react ka ba ng ganon right now?
Hindi ka sure.
Exactly. You're not sure what's going on. Do you want to get involved? Malay mo, takot sila dahil medyo malaki rin siguro this
si Amores.
I don't know how big he is, no, but these are athletes with big bodies and malaki katawan nila with the cuts and all of that. So you might just not want to get involved, no? So you never really know, but obviously something could have been done if there were siguro learning. Again na naman tayo. So learning experience na naman yan for any future incidents of the same nature. Siguro naman there's going to be better protocols as regards what to do with the guy who's really heated already, just get him out already or surround him immediately, di ba? But that's for future reference. Unfortunately, it didn't happen the other night.
Yeah. I think yung sa future nga, like yesterday, may game ata yung Beda and Lyceum. Parang nagkakainitan and they paused it for a bit yata. Kasi nga they already, it's just recency bias. That a recent memory pala na nangyari lang yun the day before. So medyo nga nag-panic siguro sila. Baka may mangyari ulit na, scuffle or something. So buti
Right.
lang, walang nangyari. And it ended up in a great game ata based from what I saw on Twitter.
Yeah.
Pero,
Dikit na dikit.
yeah.
Dikit lang.
Yeah, they get 1 point win lang ata by Lyceum.
That's right.
Yeah, but I wanted to also ask about John Amores since I'm not as familiar with him because I don't watch the NCAA as much as the PBA or NBA or UAP. So I'm not really familiar with the players of JRU. So syempre nakakilala ko lang siya nung sinucker punch niya si Belmonte nung preseason. So ikaw, like as an individual in the sports industry, like do you actually know who he is? Because he even won a sportsmanship award in high school when he was at JRU, and he's been in JRU for many years now. And some people would say that he had a chance to like play in the MBPL, or even he still has like Vismin Cup. Maybe not in the PBA. Like, what was your like initial thoughts on him even before the incident happened?
I'm just like you. I only found out about him during the UP incident preseason. Because siyempre, we anticipate those games. No? I cheer for UP. When that happens, it was all over. Again, in a similar manner, it was in all the chat groups and forums and on social media. So that's where I learned about him, diba? And then comments from friends, from some of my friends who are more involved in the NCAA, they said he's a bit of a problem, a bit of a hothead. That he's that type of guy. So okay, but that's normal. Almost every team, every league has that kind of personality.
Yes.
But lately, in the past 3 days, I've learned so much more about him, diba? And then people said, he's a pretty good player. He was a star in high school for the same university, for Jose Rizal. In fact, I learned that some UAAP teams were interested in having him come over to their camp. But he's stuck with Jose Rizal. Of course, I'm just relying on information I've gathered.
Yeah.
I'm not stating this as my own information. And then, so magaling. And then, but then I also learned that sportsmanship award, that photo that's going around, he's holding a sportsmanship award. That wasn't actually for him. That was for the team, for the for the JRU Light Bombers. No, he was still in the juniors. Their team was given the sportsmanship award. So I guess he was a pretty calm guy that season because he was part of the team that had the best sportsmanship. And he happened to be there that day during the awarding because he won, I think, the most improved player award.
Okay.
So nandun na siya eh. So nung tinawag yung JRU high school,
siya na yung kukuha.
Siya yung kumuha, and that's the photo. So there's a bit of misinformation, but I read about it yesterday. That's the real reason he was holding it. But it's still ironic, regardless whether it was his own award or his team's. Diba? Parang mali pa rin, diba? Parang how did that change so quickly in just a couple of years, diba? So that's what I know about him. He's been involved. There's one friend of mine, big popular sportscaster as well, si Bill Velasco, who mentioned that he's been involved. Amores has been involved in about 4 incidents. I'm not sure what the other incidents are.
The Letran. There was a Letran one.
So that would be 3. So I don't know what the 4th one is, no?
Yeah.
But obviously the fellow he's a repeat offender. He's got some anger management issues. He's got a temper, and his outlet is really to engage, no? Obviously, he will engage you, diba? And not just you, but everyone. Anybody who gets in his way. It's very clear, diba? I'm no psychologist. I don't know what goes on in his mind, but it's clear. I mean, don't have to be a genius. People, I don't think there's too many people that can defend his actions, diba? I mean, come on.
Yeah.
You can try, but 9 out of 10 people in the room are going to say, come on, shut it up. Because you can't defend what's been going on with this guy.
I don't think there's anyone, even if there's still a couple of people that I'm pretty sure you've seen in the comments, like yung mga hoop junkie posts or yung mga like GMA sports posts. There's still people that try to defend him, which I don't know. I just laugh when read it on Facebook or on Instagram. But then I wanted to ask you, since you mentioned about the UP incident on like the first time that you heard about him, in your opinion, ba, like should he have received like a punishment? Because I parang he was still playing in Phil Oil, he was still playing in UCBL, he still played all the NCAA games. So he did that. Pero since I guess preseason, hindi siya nationally televised game, parang need masyadong nabigyan ng pansin. Like si Amores, like since JRU din siguro siya, they don't get as much attention as the other schools compared to like UP or Ateneo or LaSalle. Like, siguro people just threw it under the rug and then now bumalik na naman yung name niya sa national media.
Simple answer is yes, diba? You have to suffer the consequences of your actions, regardless. I mean, whether it's a reprimand all the way to a jail sentence, diba? I mean, you have to, something has to be done to address these things. I'm not exactly sure what happened in that preseason league. What did the league officials do? I'm sure a complaint was before them. I'm not privy to any discussions or what decisions they made, no. But obviously kulang kasi yun na nga, as you said, no, he was still around. He's been there, parang as though he did not do anything, diba? And he hurt the guy. I mean, he hurt the guy. It wasn't just nagkaabutan ng konti. This fellow was hit a couple of times. He was injured. And because of that, the UP community was not happy with what JRU did and how this fellow just went about, parang scot-free. So that's why UP did file a complaint, with the prosecutor's office against him, and I believe that's pending right now. So I don't know the details, but I'm pretty sure it's a physical injuries case. I don't know to what extent, whether it's slight or less serious or serious injuries. I'm not really sure what the medical report said, but it's pending right now, no? So given that he's got this criminal case going on, maybe something should have been done about it. I'll always say, and I'll say it again and again, hindsight is everything is clear. Sana ito yung ginawa. Sana may penalty na binigay right away. Maybe he should have been suspended or given a leave from the team for a bit or whatever. But it wasn't done. So and I think that might have empowered, that might have emboldened him to just continue doing what he was doing, diba? And sadly, yun na nga, it erupted really badly the other day.
Yeah, so talking about the incident the other day now, since that's what people wanna hear, and there's this clip that I saw actually, since mga 3-minute mark of the fourth nangyari yun na down 20 sila, pero meron din yata nangyari nung 4-minute mark na he punched someone nung box out, si Sanko ata from CSB, and I'm not sure, I don't think it hit that strong compared to the other people he punched, so the ref didn't call it. So it was surprising because I didn't even know that occurred because I didn't watch the game, so hindi ko alam na nagkakainitan na pala the play before or something. So from seeing that and the refs not calling anything, do you think that could have also been prevented na nagka-outburst siya na ganun if they could have like ejected him na initially kasi nga hindi na siya makakatakbo ng ganun kasi nasa dugout na siya, he didn't have that opportunity anymore.
I think the best set of referees that you can have is a set of referees that can control the game, and I don't mean control the game in a Tim Donaghy way. I'm talking about controlling the game, that you don't let anything spiral, no, or get out of control. So you have to be very watchful, diba? I mean, hopefully referees make the right calls as far as fouls are concerned and this and that. But when there are non-basketball actions, diba, that happen during the game, when there's too much trash talking, because there is such a thing as too much trash talking. There's trash talking and there's too much trash talking, which offends people already and makes them go crazy, diba? You have to be wary of that, and not just what's going on in the court, also what's going on in the stands, diba? If indeed it's the heckling of a fan that really snapped him, no? Maybe that fan should have been put in his place seconds earlier, diba? Already. And not just by the referees, but league officials and venue security as well. But yes, to answer your question directly, the referees have a duty to watch, but they can't see kasi anything. It's like a call. They can't see everything rather. It's like making calls during the game. baka hindi nila nakita yun. Baka hindi nila nakita. So I'll give them the benefit of the doubt for that. I respect referees very much. It's such a tough job, and none of us, neither of us, would want to do it. Naman, we can criticize and insult the referees, but we wouldn't want to do their job anyway. It's so difficult. Pero sayang, kung nakita yon, tapos pinigil muna yung laro, and they were able to dialogue with the parties involved, tell the coaches, diba, and this and that. It would have helped for sure, but maybe they didn't see it. So, that just aggravates things. But overall, you have to have that sense of control, and you have to be watchful. Kailangan as an overseer of the game, an umpire, referee, you have to be aware of certain situations. You also have to know how to read people's actions and demeanor and all of that. So, ideally, ganun yun. I mean, if I were to speak to a group of referees, that's what I would tell them. I've had the privilege to talk to some referees from the PBA, even retired referees. We've interviewed them on our show on Alternative Basketball. And ganun yun diba? The dialoguing and anticipation without having to second guess anything that's going on. But yun na nga, baka hindi nakita yung siko na yun, Diego, or that swing to Sanko earlier that you're mentioning. So, kung nakita yun at wala sila ginawa, ay nako, shame on them.
Yeah.
Diba? Diba? Takot sila. Diba? Dapat hindi sila mag-referee. Hindi pwedeng takot yung referee.
Yeah. I agree, because sometimes it's difficult. Like, they only have 6 eyes. Like, if there's 3 refs, it's kind of tough to see that. Lalo na, siguro may nag-shoot, diba? So, hindi naman nila tinitingnan lahat nung nag-box out or nag-rebound. Lalo na kung medyo pangit pa yung angle. So, yeah, I agree. Baka nga mahirap yun. Pero going into the play, you talked about, like, yung action that happened. Because, di ba, nung rebound, parang I didn't see anything dirty naman that happened there. Parang he was just pissed nga din siguro kasi 1 of 12 shooting siya and they were down 20 and it added up na. Pero nung rebound play and before yung camera nag-focus kay Coach Charles, I actually had no clue what was going on. Kasi yun nga, mas nag-focus yung lahat nung natamaan na niya yung CSB players. So for you, did you hear anything from the people in the stands or from your other media friends, or did you read comments on what happened there? Kasi people were confused. It's like Charles Chu's face, is nagbabox out lang naman, and then yun pala yung iba nagsabi kaaway daw niya yung ref or may sinabi, minura daw siya ng ref. So ano yung narinig mo?
That's what I heard as well, no, that he was upset at the referee for not calling something. And siguro napuno na siya, it was a physical game. But this is the thing if you study the history of the two teams, obviously JRU is the more physical team, really, playing wise. Hindi naman kilalang ganun ang binild, no? So they're the tougher team, the more physical team. So there's no surprise if indeed nagkakainitan na nga during certain plays, di ba? So, and then as you mentioned, the guy wasn't playing well in that certain contest. And then you're down by 20, and these guys are still boxing you out and out hustling you, And so he's probably wondering, how are these guys in white outplaying us like this, di ba? Parang bakit gano'n? So, but that's what I heard na pikon siya dahil hindi raw tinawag. And he complained to the referee. And they're saying, the JRU camp is saying, or people from that side are saying that the referee cursed at him.
Yeah, that's what
I want that to be verified sana if I just for everyone's consumption. I think we're all fans naman you want to know, especially the NCAA fans, the fans of all the teams who are actually involved. Kasi kung minura ng referee yung player, dapat tanggalin yung referee na yun, diba?
Yeah, how is he still there?
Yeah, dapat tanggalin siya, di ba? Without it's not even a suspension or whatever, take him out. Diba? Diba? Or at least sit him out for a long time, di ba? Kasi sabi nga nila, huwag naman ban, indefinite suspension lang. Yan ang mga words na ginagamit, di ba? Just to lessen the blow, no? And that's what really triggered it, because you could see he was asking for the ball from his teammate. Babato talaga niya sa referee. Yun klaro naman siguro yun. I don't think we're second game. We're nanguhula dito. And buti na lang yung teammate niya had the presence of mind not to give the ball. But then that's siguro inis din siya that if he had thrown the ball, siguro tapos na yun Di ba? But hindi niya natapon. So yung angst niya talagang it was there. It was building up inside him, di ba? And then words were being said. Someone was heckling him. Nakatingin yung mga nakaputi. Alam mo naman mga Pinoy, nakatinginan lang. Parang galit na palagi, di ba? Parang,
Yeah.
ba't ka nakatingin, di ba? And that's the,
Yeah.
but there's no place for that really in the sports arena, di ba? I mean, we were all. I mean, you were an athlete as well. I played a little ball in my life. You want to win, you want to compete, you play hard, and syempre, nagpapakita kayo ng sino mas siga and all of that, di ba? But you try to play within the rules, di ba? I mean, if you're gonna foul him hard, di ba? Pero kung gusto mo suntukan, you have to take it to the right arena, di ba? Within the boxing ring maybe, or the octagon, as they say. So, but that's the same thing. Most of what Diego, is probably what I know and saw as well.
Yeah. And you mentioned nga na baka nga meron pa siyang anger na sa loob ng katawan niya dahil nga hindi niya natapon yung bola. So, nung nilagay siya sa side of the bench, did you think na he was gonna do something? Kasi syempre yung video, di ba, parang 2.5 minutes. So, syempre parang magtataka ka, bakit ang haba? Like, kung nag-fight, punches were thrown lang, but parang ang haba ng video, 2.5 minutes. So, parang, di ba, he was there in the bench. I was also wondering, like, why did they, tas biglang he was there for maybe 10 to 15 seconds not doing anything, and then nagulat ka ba na pumunta siya all the way to the bench? Kasi based from what I heard din, parang someone said na there were fans nga heckling him. So why did he go through the bench and natamaan nga niya yung players ng CSB? Or would you think na he just didn't care, basta he just wanted to hit somebody?
I know at that point in time, I think he just went berserk already. I mean, it might have been the fan, might have been the fan who was cursing at him that really ticked him off, and set him off like that. But when he ran, he was just, it wasn't even a straight line. There was a curve, and a lot of people are saying nanuntok din naman yung tiga Benilde. Diba? Yeah. When he got there, when Amores got there, the guy from Benilde swung. But if you see this guy rushing at you, he's angry as heck.
Yeah,
and
but
he's gonna probably, I know. So for me, the guy who swung, the first guy who swung from Benil, that was 100% justified. Diba? He chose na hindi ako tatakbo kasi yun yung fight or flight, diba? Yung reaction mo dyan. And he chose to, so he swung first kasi the guy was coming at him. He may not have been the target at the start, but naging siya yung target kasi nag-swerve nga itong si Amores to go to him, diba? So, no, I did not expect it. I thought by the time they brought him to the end of the bench, maybe things were going to calm down already. He surprised everybody, obviously. He was the only one who knew what he was going to do. Because, like I said, diba, sabi nga natin, nag-part yung Red Sea, everybody let him through, token resistance from everybody, including security, because they had no idea. It just happened so fast, but it was something that could have been prevented with better preparation and better parang foresight, diba?
Yeah, and when he was going through the bench, it's interesting to see nga that the first guy from CSB, I got also surprised. Nung una kasi na pinanood ko, I didn't see anyone from CSB hit him. So do you think it would have triggered him na he hit sila Pastoran and Davis? Kasi I don't know if he even had any interaction with those players in the game, or talagang bahala na kung sino na lang matamaan ko. Like he wanted to hit Oxon pa, or I think he did.
Yeah.
Malakas yata. So do you think his intention was just to hit whoever nakalaban na lang? Kasi nga, and what was your initial reaction on Cuellar? Did you see him also like covering Pastoran, because I think he's the captain of CSP?
And he's the one who crouched over, crouched over the first guy who fell. Ako tingin ko ganito, when he wanted, I don't know if he wanted, this is how I see it. He wanted to go after the fan, but somewhere along the way he curved into the court and rushed into he rushed into the Benil team, the whole team. And when you're in that situation, especially because the Benil player swung at him first, diba, yung feeling mo is para kang kukuyugin eh. He suddenly realized that, oh my God, there's 12, 15 white shirts around me. And so, wala na eh. Everybody was a target already at that point, diba? Rather than unahan siya, diba? And that's very understandable naman if you've ever been in a situation like that before, when there's a bunch of would-be assailants, around you, you just hit every one of them. I mean, naawa ako dun sa huli. Yung kay
Yeah,
David. Because he
David.
was really just standing there looking what was going on.
Pacifier. Yeah.
And he got napuruhan talaga siya. And that was really uncalled for. And, in I guess in another jurisdiction in the U.S., probably that was clear assault. No? That's clear assault. We don't have that, that kind of crime assault here in the Philippines. But that was clear as day. Sinapak talaga siya without provocation. And really, he was defenseless at that point. He's lucky that he got up after the game. No? That's solid talaga yun, that last one. But I did see the first fellow who fell on the floor. The teammate crouched over him already and made sure that no one else could at least get to him na. But yeah, pero yun na nga, it was really just chaos. It's complete. Wala na. He lost it already. It was just the uniforms he was looking at already at that point in time. Pag hindi niya kakulay, kung puti yun, kalaban na niya talaga. And obviously so he lost it. And that's why people are clamoring or suggesting that he gets counseling really for his anger management, no? or lack of it. Because obviously he needs it. He needs it talaga. Not the first time. And that was really wow, and yung strength that, when a person's enraged like that, it's hard. Nag-amok talaga siya eh. Because even his first punch, it was like parang mahina lang, pero hindi kasi bumagsak yung guy because his momentum moving forward. He looked like parang like a superhuman at that point. And if it continued, he probably would have let 3 or 4 more guys hit the deck. So matindi talaga. And all the videos naman are there as evidence of what he did, diba? So it's really undeniable.
Yeah. You mentioned about assault nga na pwedeng kasuhan pag nasa States. Pero here in the Philippines, since like you're a lawyer nga and people are saying na whatever accusations they can about him, but then they don't know anything naman na pwedeng ikaso sa kanya. And he already has the pending complaint or case again with UP. So what do you think CSB, like what do you think they can file against him, or what do you think they could accuse him of? Kasi nga, some people are unaware of that and maybe you'd be aware with the law and everything.
Any crime naman that you commit outside the basketball court, you can also commit in the basketball court, right? So if you were to punch somebody like that in a party, for example, okay?
Yeah.
Diba? Pwede kang kasuhan, diba, nung sinuntok mo. The same way, pwede siyang kasuhan ng mga sinuntok niya, diba? Here in that certain game. So it's really up to the lawyers, I think, of Benilde and the individuals involved, no? To study what they can file. But I would imagine immediately, because of the medical attention that was given to a couple of them, that there's some sort of physical injury that occurred, diba? And if that happens, then there are certain degrees of physical injury, slight, less serious, and serious physical injuries, depending on what kind of treatment was given and what kind of injury was inflicted, how long the treatment would last, and all of that. So there are degrees to that to determine which of those you can file a case for. That is something that's available to them, I suppose, if they find it right to do that. I believe that what I've been hearing is that they're inclined to do it because why not? Diba? It really happened, and there's so much evidence to support the position that he committed those crimes on the basketball court. So that's what they can do as well. I mean, it's nothing beyond that, siguro. I mean, it's not nobody died, diba? I mean, he had no intent to kill them, so you can't say it was an attempt to kill them, diba? So palagay ko, criminally, that's one of the ones. But aside from that, they can pursue other things like the conduct in school. Will the school expel him? Maybe. Diba?
Yeah, I was thinking about that too.
Because the NCAA has indefinitely suspended him. The team, JRU Heavy Bombers, has indefinitely suspended him as well. But is he still worthy to be a JRU student based on their disciplinary code or whatever? Is something that can also be pushed. I don't know if Benilde is the proper complainant for that. Maybe not. The school should probably make its own inquiry and make a decision on that. But that's another thing, because people are asking about the games and amusement board. No, the GAB doesn't apply to him because he's not a professional athlete naman, di ba? So hindi kasama ang GAB dyan. But the school definitely will have something to say about that, or should have something to say about that.
Yeah. Pag nagpatong-patong yung mga ginawa niya, and then kumari UP files a case, and then like CSB also does something, like what is the punishment he could receive if proven nga guilty and goes through the due process and everything?
Well, of course the cases are all separate. No, they're not gonna clump those cases together. But yeah, he could suffer a penalty of imprisonment depending on what the findings of the court are. No? So pwede siya makulong. Pwede siya makulong, di ba? Depende nga sa gravity ng mga injuries inflicted, and you know, if the prosecution is able to prove it, but I think proving it's not going to be hard, di ba? As we mentioned, ang daming angulo, di ba? Regardless of what, maybe there's a mitigating circumstance here and there or whatever, but there could even be aggravating circumstances because of whatever reason. But yeah, pwede. So yun yung pinaka pwedeng mangyari sa kanya, is aside from losing a scholarship, getting expelled from school, being banned from X number of basketball leagues moving forward, he could go to jail as well. He could also be asked to pay certain fines or damages for the damages that he caused, to the parties concerned.
Yeah, that's really a concerning sight nga, kasi nga tama yung na-mention mo kanina na kailangan nga niya natin ng counseling. I mean, bata pa siya. Like, he can still do something. I don't know if anyone will get him in like basketball, but then he could do something else. I mean, he could have a business or whatever his course is in college. I'm not sure with that. But you mentioned also about JRU, and I wanted to also ask you, since nga you mentioned na nga na something happened with UP before, do you think tama yun na pinapalaro pa rin nila sa team? Like, hindi ba kunwari may nangyari ng ganon? Like, yun nga, kung ikaw na yung school, kahit yung league, kasi nga UCBL, I mean, if he's suspended there, so what, right? So, JRU, diba people are saying na bakit yung mga JRU, ganyan, na yung school, hindi nila, parang people think na hindi pinansin yung nangyari with the UP thing, and they just tolerated whatever misbehavior he did, and they made him play pa rin in the NCAA. So do you think that it would have helped if they took action in it earlier?
You know, there's always two sides to a story, maybe more, no? At least two sides to a story. Kasi yung perspective dito is like this, no? Some of us can look at it and say, sayang, sana hindi na siya pinalaro kasi may kaso na siya. But if you're JRU and he's a pretty serviceable player, he's even good, he can help your team, you'll say, bakit? Has he been convicted? Diba? Is he a felon? No, there's a case going on. And they have to prove that he actually did something wrong, you know. So he's innocent until proven guilty, and all of that. So why will we not let him play? So those are the aspects that are involved there. So I'm trying to look at it from a JRU side, and from the everyone else the crowd that wants him crucified, diba? Okay. So the maddening crowd there that's really upset. So ganun ang perspective dyan, di ba? So you can say that to JRU all you want. Bakit hindi nyo binan? Dapat hindi nyo pinalaro and all of that. But they will also hit you back with the argument that why? Why not? He's one of our players. He's our scholar. He's diba? He's not been proven guilty in any court. Diba? Convicted of anything. He's not admitted to his liability. But then, of course, some will say, oh, but there's this issue of delicadeza, and this and that, and better discretion. Well, you know, we're not in a position to decide for the JRU officials and all of that. Maybe. Di ba? Ngayon nga, sabi nga natin, in retrospect, klarong-klaro lahat yan. Oo nga, sana hindi na natin pinalaro. Mainit talaga ulo ng bata. But they didn't think of it at that time. What did they want to do? They wanted to compete in the NCAA. Maybe give themselves a chance for the Final Four. Di ba? So, you know, if this guy can help, let's let him play. Diba? But you know, so for them, it might have been an easy decision. I'm not trying to read their minds, but opinion lang na malamang ganun lang ang naisip nila talaga, that this guy, you know, diba? There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with him, diba? People may think he's a hooligan, he's a thug, but we're giving him the benefit of the doubt. He's our guy, diba? So we're gonna defend him. We're gonna support him and all of that. So yun na nga, you always have to look at it from the different aspects kasi. Ang dali-daling humusga, but hindi naman natin siya kakampi. So kung kakampi natin siya siguro, iba yung iisipin natin.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with that sentiment. Pero I wanted to also ask you about the suspension. Like, people are saying, why not ban him? Like, why is he indefinitely suspended? But then when I heard about it, isn't he like the same? Because he's not gonna play in the NCAA either way. Because, di ba, kung graduate na siya or kung tatanggalin na siya sa school, he won't be able to play. So, does that mean it will also affect like his other like participation in like Vismin or Phil Basket or MBPL? If yun nga, kasi he's a good role player naman based from what I read and heard. Kala ko kasi like he's just parang bench warmer lang or something. Pero hindi. He actually could contribute. He scored like 19 points in a game this season. Yeah. So what's your thoughts on that? And also with maybe JRU, like they only have 6 players for their next game because most of their teams, most of the team members are suspended. And for CSB, they have 2 players. So yeah, maybe you could focus on the sanctions given to the 2 schools.
Well, let's focus on Amores first. No, indefinite suspension was the term given. I understand, and I saw a quote online yesterday. I don't know if it's accurate. That one of the Mancom members said the reason they used indefinite suspension is because they don't want to close the door on this guy. Kasi when you say ban, it's so definite already na parang wala na, forever na, ganon. Alam naman natin there's no such thing as forever. Kaya indefinite suspension daw is the wild term. I think it's a soft term, no? They didn't have to use ban, but permanently disallowed. I mean, they're better. It's all words anyway. So indefinite suspension for me, it didn't rub me the right way the first time I heard it because I asked someone in the know, okay, someone from inside the NCAA, and I asked, may eligibility pa ba itong si Amores? And I understand he has 2 more years of eligibility. Okay. So by saying indefinite suspension, are you saying na within those 2 years there's a chance he might be reinstated? Diba? Kasi parang ganun ang implication ng indefinite suspension.
Kasi hindi naman pro-league.
Yeah, but then someone also saw another person who's quote unquote insider said, I'm blind, nagba-blind item ako dito. Said to me na hindi, parang ganun na rin yun. Understood na yun, hindi siya maglalaro forever. Pero they just wanted to make the term nicer lang. Okay, sige, whatever, diba? So, if he's gone forever from the NCAA, I think that's good. That's good because he has no place there, really. Diba? Kasi hindi lang naman isang beses nga. As far as the other suspensions, leaving the bench, I think that's valid to suspend players who left the bench during a brawl, diba? You're not supposed to leave the bench. That happens even all the way to the NBA naman. So that's good. I think there's a couple of them who were suspended because they also fought. Kasi there were smaller pocket incidents that were going on the side pala na kahit paano nagkasuntukan ng konti. So anybody who threw punches or pushed in a provocative manner should also be dealt with 1 game, 2 game, whatever it is, diba? So okay yan. I think the penalties to the rest are okay. The penalty for him if he's not allowed to play in the NCAA anymore will be okay. I didn't like lang the term indefinite suspension. Simply because it implied that he would be able to come back, but I have been told he will not be allowed. So okay, parang ganun na rin yun, diba? Yeah. So okay lang. But I think there should also be penalties maybe on erring referees as I mentioned earlier already. I don't know if there's been an announcement already, parang wala pa, as to what penalty the referees will be given, if any. No, if indeed that fellow, the one referee cursed at him, then he should be suspended as well. Diba? How about team officials? People are clamoring for the heads of the JRU management kasi and coaches for failing to do that. I really don't know. What's your obligation? Should they have been holding him already? Should they have been?
Mahirap yun. It's like a judgment thing.
That's right. So I don't know where that ends. Let's let the NCAA people look at that. No, mandaling sabihin na dapat ito yung ginawa. The security people have to be talked to. The league officials need to talk to the bouncers and the rest of them. No, the venue owners and managers, kausapin na yung security ulit for the coming games. How to handle the situation. Parang ano sila they're ready during a normal game na walang away. But pag may ganyang kagulo, hindi nila alam anong gagawin nila. So, sana maturuan sila at matrain sila on how to respond to something that happened. Because this will not be the last time there's going to be an Amores on the court. Huh? We know it. They come along every now and then.
Yeah.
And so they need to prepare for that in the future.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure, for sure. But then if I wanted to ask naman from this perspective, if you're a front office, like general manager ka nga nung isa sa mga, kahit hindi PBA, kasi some people would say, hindi naman pang PBA yan si Amores. Yung ibang leagues, like, would you even consider getting him, like, similar to like how Miles Bridges now, di ba parang hindi nga daw siya guilty dun sa case niya sa NBA. Pero hindi pa rin siya naglalaro sa Charlotte, or he doesn't have like a contract now kasi people siguro are hesitating to get him, and there are other incidents in like the NBA or other leagues wherein if they have a case, parang people are hesitating to try to even sign him kahit hindi na guilty. So kung ikaw, bibigyan, ilang percent ng consideration bibigay mo na i-try po siya ilagay sa league or sa team na yun?
Kung ako yung GM, zero. Kung ako. But this country, there's so many basketball leagues. And if this guy can play and he can help your team to any extent, believe me, he will be able to sign with the team somewhere. It's already happened. Diego, nangyari na ito many times. May mga players dyan na kilalang mainitang ulo, kinukuha pa rin Kasi magaling. May mga kilala dyan nagbebenta ng mga games. Kilala na yan Not proven in court, but people know, may reputation na yan. Bentador yan This guy sells games. Diba? That's why he was kicked off his team wherever, in college or in the pros. But another team will pick him up. Why? Because he can score.
Talented. Yeah,
talent-wise. No? And then Filipino culture of being forgiving. So forgiving. You know that. I mean, diba? Happens all the time in all aspects of society. Parang people tend to forget. We're so angry at this person today. Tomorrow, he'll run for public office and win, or diba? He has a show on TV and all of a sudden you're all watching it, even if he's a criminal already, he's been convicted. So, unless they ban him somehow, let's say the GAB, that's where the GAB can come in if it's a professional league and say, di pwede yung guy na yan, di namin bibigyan ng lisensya yan, di siya pwede maglaro, di ba? But, believe me, Diego, may kukuha pa rin dyan if he's good enough.
Yeah.
Di ba? If he's good enough to make the team, if he can help the team. And at saka, di ba, maraming team dyan who wouldn't want to have an enforcer like him.
Yeah.
Si Amores yan, di ba? Pag drive yan, tatabi na yung kalaban kasi makasuntukin siya. Diba? Things like that. So, di ba? So, pwede pa yan. The career is not over unless they ban him or they really just they blackball him talaga. But I said, but there will be managers who will not get him anymore, for sure, just because he's been bad news in the past, diba? But meron pa rin yan. Sigurado.
Diba? Yeah, tingin ko nga din sa dami ngayon ng leagues and teams and those leagues. Pero yung isa pang question that I wanted to ask is, how does JRU bounce back from this? I mean, yung reputation nila ngayon, medyo, I don't know, people say like the most insulting stuff about them just because of one guy. I mean, it's generalizing the whole school, kahit yung mga nag-graduate now or whatever, or yung mga teachers, like everything. So how does a school like this, how do they like bounce back from setback?
I think the number one thing JRU has to do as a community is to admit the wrongdoing of this fellow. Diba? Mali siya Pero supporting him in the sense that, he's one of them and he can always get better. Diba? Give the guy a chance. Yung counseling, I don't know what the proper term is, rehabilitation. I don't know what it is, no? I mean, embrace him as your own, but if you need, di ba, parang ano yan parang tatay yan sa anak Kung kailan mo babatukan mo di ba? Di ba? Mali ka di ba? But di mo naman itatakwil yan. You're not gonna condemn him, right? JRU is very rich in tradition and history, especially in basketball. Some of the best players came from JRU, JRC pa noon, no? So they're very rich in that, and they're very proud as well, They love their heavy bombers and their light bombers over there in JR in Jose Rizal. But But yeah, once you overcome that, you can't engage people di ba? And say na, hindi, tama yung ginawa niya. Kasi wala kang kalaban-laban mali talaga. Own up to that. And then, how do you bounce back? Well, you just keep playing basketball the right way, di ba? Just keep playing ball. The 6 players who are going to play in their next game, galingan lang nila. We've seen that can succeed, di ba? I think CEU did that before, di ba? Or something like that. Or San Beda also did that before. They just played with pride and then the next game their players will be back, so they're going to be missing Amores for the rest of the season. But who cares? Just keep playing, play ball the right way, di ba? You can still play your rough and tough physical kind of game, di ba?
Yeah.
Walang problema yun normal naman yan di ba? So but if you start trying to whitewash or trying to protect and defend, medyo out of place siguro yun, and hopefully that's avoided and just sana may mag-sorry nga somewhere along the way, yung an actual sorry, di ba?
Yeah.
Pasensya na sa pangyayari dahil hindi talaga dapat nangyari yan. But let them deal with their guy as they have naman. At least the team has already dealt with him. Pero yun, bounce back. Madali naman mag-bounce back. You just play the right way, di ba?
Yeah. So to add to the lighter note, Charlie, I wanted to ask you with this whole incident, like what are some of the things you saw on social media na pag-giggle ka lang or natawa ka or nag-smirk ka with something? Kasi people like si Lester Prosper nag-post, natawa ako na in-invite niya for dinner, or like yung sumayaw-sayaw pa yung JRU, people made an issue na parang yung Gilas daw and Australia nung nag-away sila, diba? Nag-selfie din. What's the most intriguing or most like funny thing or strange thing you saw with the whole thing?
I didn't appreciate that dancing video, those JRU players who were dancing. I didn't appreciate that. The same way I really didn't appreciate the photos taken after the Gilas brawl. But I do understand that that's so Pinoy to try to diffuse a situation. You crack a joke, diba? You crack a joke or you make it funny. So I'm just trying to here I am. I'm trying to justify that happening. But I didn't like that video. Didn't sit well with me, especially because people got hurt talaga. Diba? People were on the ground for a long time. So you don't start dancing after that. So that kind of sucked. But yeah, social media. There's one forum. I mean, there was a guy. He was defending na parang don't get mad at Amores. Get mad at his actions, but he's just like anybody else. Whatever. Yeah, but your actions have consequences, diba? So and it's all right to be upset at him, as long as you don't condemn him. If you're in your right mind, then you pray for his well-being and that he gets better. Mentally, he doesn't get too hot-headed and all of that. So that was, and he was met by the other people in that forum. Come on, man, shut that down, diba? Medyo kontra sa kanya. You mentioned the one about Lester Prosper, and I love that because Lester's a nice guy. He's a great guy. He hasn't won a game in the PBA this conference, but he's still fun to be around with outside, outside the court.
Yeah, I talked to him too. He's funny.
Yeah, nice effort for him to reach out. Nice guy. Shows you veterano na kasi. But I read a post. From Mark Andaya. Remember him from Letan? And he posted something really nice about this whole incident, and he really reminded all the players that you play for your school. That's on the front of your jersey. You play for your family. The name's on the back of your jersey, in front of X thousand fans because you're on TV in one of the best leagues. You have to remember your actions don't only speak about you, but reflects on all these other, the relations, like your relatives and your school and all of that. And don't waste the opportunity because there's only a certain number of them who get that chance to play in the NCAA, the UAAP, PBA, whatever. So don't waste it and all of that. And at the end, he urged Amores to pray and find himself. Diba? Ang ganda parang ganun that's what I gathered from that long post of Mark Andaya, which a friend reposted, and I saw it. And so, well, amen to that, Big Mac. And, ganun talaga dapat I mean, ang dali kasi, very vile ngayon, Diego, alam mo naman, we were online often, and it's very vile, diba?
Yeah.
And vicious. But once you relax and sit back and take a few deep breaths, diba? You know, siyempre, hindi naman pwedeng, Amores will still be there and he'll still want to play
Mm.
ball, you know. So I don't know, but for now, he has to suffer the consequences of his actions.
Yeah, I think that's all naman that we tackled everything about the issue. So thank you, Charlie, for accepting the invitation and also, yeah, accepting it right away because I asked you right after the day after the incident. So yeah, thank you for coming on the podcast. And do you have any final message?
Well, it's my pleasure no to have been here, Diego.
Mm,
It's always nice to talk about these things. Pero yun na nga some ano lang, some calm sana yung kailangan kasi talagang the mob is out. They want to
mm,
get this guy and rightfully so, I think, no. But you know, when it all comes to cool minds and all of that, you know, there's really more to this, more behind this, and there's a solution. Also, hopefully things get
mm,
better for him and for the NCAA because you know the NCAA has been racked with a lot of things every now and then, and you know people don't like the fact that there are no more foreign athletes there and this and that. But some good games have been going on, so you know let's not forget about
mm.
the basketball, right? Everybody, we're losing
Yeah,
focus. Let's play some ball.
yeah,
You know, let's not lose
mm,
focus like Amores and go
yeah,
crazy. Let's just play some ball, enjoy it while it's there, and well, you know, maraming salamat for giving me an opportunity also to speak out on this. It's been in my mind, of course, past couple of days, Diego, and so
yeah,
medyo nalabas ko rin some of the things that I wanted to say. Thank you.
yeah, yeah. Thank you, Charlie. And before you go, is it okay if we take a picture?
Of course.
Yeah, I'll take it from here. One, two, three. Okay, thank you, Charlie, for joining me on the pod. And yeah, stay safe.
All right. Ingat.
Okay. Ingat.